Hello. Speaking of something else here. The Gemara he's quoting Ramban is the Gemara Megillah. Here he's only bringing in terms of matat, that he will not tolerate any level of iniquity. Yeah. That's this. But I'm saying with the thing with Esther and all that, or with Yeshua and then the Sartzvah coming back with the drawn sword. That's the Gemara Megillah. Okay, let's go. You could ask Alec. He'll tell you it's Megillah, right? Okay. Baruch atah Adonai. Oy. Okay. One second. V'omer Rebbe Lozer, we're holding Tzadi Beis of an Aleph. Various statements of Rebbe Lozer. Yesterday we left off. Rebbe Lozer says a house that does not have Divrei Torah at nighttime, it will be consumed by fire. By fire. So we gave a number of reasons. Of course, the Mishnah tells us in Pirkei Avos just afterwards says, whoever has the ability, the Gemara in Brachos, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says something within this similar. It says, the Gemara says in Brachos, a person who has the ability to study and doesn't study. You have the ability. So it says, Kol minei yisurim bo'em olav. All levels of what? Of suffering come upon him, and actually it causes him to be murky. It like totally consumes him. The suffering consumes him, that he becomes non-functional. If you have the ability to study and you choose not to, the person is preoccupied, you're preoccupied. Maybe you should have, whatever it is, taken out time. That level of claim is not against that person. The person sitting around chooses not to study, but you could study. Why aren't you studying? I don't want to. I have no interest. So if you have the ability, and the claim is a very strong claim against the person. The Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, a person who studies Torah mitoch oni, studies Torah despite his impoverished state, ultimately he'll study Torah mitoch osher. Hashem will study Torah with wealth. And a person who's mevatel Torah, a person who's not studied Torah, when he has wealth, ultimately he won't study Torah impoverishment. Why? Because what does Hashem give you wealth? The person has the wealth. Did he give him the wealth to go on a yacht or to go to the Dominican Republic and have a five-star vacation? That's what he gave it to you for. He gave it to you to be able to what? To be securing your Torah study. So if you go and you misappropriate the money, Hashem says, I'm withdrawing it. And the one who, despite his impoverished state, studies Torah, and he sacrifices, Hashem says, you're the one who deserves it. So ultimately, he's going to study Torah mitoch osher. Hashem will provide him. So what's his name? So if you remember the Maral, a little bit of a review. Now we did this in the morning. So what about Rabbi Hanina Mendoza? There was nobody who studied Torah in a more destitute state than Rabbi Hanina Mendoza. Shadai love b'kav charub me erev Shabbos. And all his life, he literally, and the whole world is sustained in his merit. Why did Hashem provide him? Based on the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. If you studied Torah mitoch oni, and he studied Torah at the most advanced level, with what? He was sat with Avos Hashem, as we explained. So why didn't he ever merit wealth? It's the moral's question. Now that's because he asked, but he asked. She didn't ask. He asked. He asked on her behalf. And then afterwards, she had the dream that they were missing a leg. Okay? They didn't have the repairman from whatever it is, from Bergen County, to come fix the leg. Okay? So he took it back. So the moral answer is, it's true. But Reb Chanina, that's only if you really want it. Reb Chanina didn't want to benefit from this world as much as an iota. Hashem is willing to provide it. But he wanted to continue living his life on that he should have no benefit from this world. Under normal circumstances, yes. But if the tzaddik doesn't want, Hashem is not going to give it. Okay? Omer Rebbe Lozer. Kol she'eino mahana talmidei chachomim min nechosov. A person who does not allow talmidei chachomim to have benefit from his possessions. Eino rosim mibrochol olam. This person will not see blessing in this world from those possessions. A person who has material and he wants talmidei chachomim, a Torah scholar, to benefit, He helps them with what he has. With his bracha, he shares his bracha. His possession, his material will have bracha. But if he doesn't, his material will not have bracha. Right? What's the concept? Right? So it's similar. So I think, because what is the concept of bracha? The concept of bracha is because it's a spiritual concept. So if your material, which is purely physical, has relevance to kedusha, to spirituality, so then it has relevance to bracha. But if a person does not, now, the Gemara says in a number of locations, there's a mitzvah say botidbok. You should cleave to God. Somewhere asks the question, but if Hashem is fire, could you cleave to fire? How do you cleave to fire? Somewhere says you should marry the daughter of a Talmud Chacham because they represent Torah, which is the equivalent of fire. They represent Hashem. Or you should marry your daughter to a Talmud Chacham. Or you should Yaseh Prakmachim Talmud Chachamim. Meaning you give, on consignment, you give merchandise for the Talmud Chacham to earn a living. That he shouldn't have to struggle, to make it easier for him to learn it. That's how you cleave to Hashem. Now it says, Atam advikim Hashem l'chem chaim kulchem hayom. What is the source of all blessing? Hashem. So if Hashem is the source of all blessing, and you attach yourself to the Talmud Chacham, what is the result? The result is bracha. So this is it. Kol ha'mahaneh. Right? A person who does not, who withholds his nechosim, he withholds his possession from the Talmud Chacham, he doesn't want him to benefit from it, this person will never see simon bracha. Because he's detached from the source. Because the Talmud Chacham represents Hashem's presence in the world. That's beyond. Even if you're not there. You know, you're in Europe, you know, you provided the location where they have a meeting place. There it's even more so. There it's more so. Because that's a kiddush, that's really a kiddush Hashem. There you're showing how you esteem Torah. You know, my home is their home. Here I'm allowing a Talmud Chacham to benefit. I want a Talmud Chacham to benefit from what I have. Then that's Rosim and Bracha. He will see, he will have a bracha in terms of his possessions. Right, we just had at the end of Yisro. Wherever my name is mentioned, I will come to you and bless you. So wherever the name of Hashem is, that's blessing. It's synonymous with blessing. Where the Talmud Chacham is attached, is associated, that's bracha. It was known in Europe. You know, only very wealthy people had libraries. Yeah. Books, Svarim were very, very expensive. So there was a person in a number of them. The Prima Godim, his name was Rabbi Yosef Tumim. Prima Godim is a commentary on the Mogen Avram and the Taz and Shulchan Aruch, on Yoredei and Orach Chaim. And what did he do? He would offer himself to be a tutor, to tutor the children of these very wealthy people who were observant Jews. They didn't have formal yeshivas or formal Talmud Torahs, who were very wealthy people. They had a private Rebbe who would teach their children. But why did they do it? Because the byproduct was they'd have access to their tremendous libraries. So they would teach their children 2 hours a day. For the next 18 hours, they'd have all the Svarim, thousands of Svarim, which cost fortunes, which only very wealthy people could afford it. That's what they would do. The Shagas Aryeh was known. Rav Chaim Volozhin and his parents were wealthy people. The Shagas Aryeh, he wasn't a tutor, but he was a guest of the Rav Chaim Volozhin's parents for months or years, whatever it was, because he also had a tremendous library. So it's a famous story. Rav Chaim Volozhin, his mother, in terms of height, was no taller than like a 6-year-old child. Very small, tiny. And you can imagine, the Shagas Aryeh was the Vilna Gaon said it was his equivalent to Nigla. In Revealed Torah, the Vilna Gaon says the Shagas Aryeh was his equivalent in Revealed Torah. And it was, for them, it was a schus, privilege to have him study, be in the house and study for endless hours. It was their privilege. And again, because he had the library. So the Shagas Aryeh's mother, she didn't have children. I mean, Rav Chaim Volozhin, she wasn't able to conceive. Okay, And she had to come into the library where he's studying, and she felt if he comes in, she's going to interrupt his Torah study. She didn't want to interrupt him. So what did she do? How do you come in the room and not interrupt? But she had some children. She had some daughters. She had no sons. She had no sons. So she went and she put on the dress of one of her 6-year-old daughters, or less, and she crawled in like a little child crawling on the floor. Because if he would see her being the head of the household, immediately he'd interrupt his Torah. And to acknowledge her, she didn't want to cause him any interruption. So she crawls in on her all fours, like a little child crawling around. And the Shagasari is immersed in deep thought. And as he goes, he stamps his foot. Her dress is caught right under his foot. So what is she's going to pull his pants, his cuff. Again, she's going to interrupt him. She doesn't want to interrupt him. So she's stuck under his foot. His foot is on her dress. Whatever it is. Maybe the next time she'll be under his heel. So what happened? So she waits, and all of a sudden he notices her. And he feels bad. Little girl caused it. Says, you should be zocher that you should have a son who's going to be a Godel B'Yisrael. A year later, Chaim Volozhin was born. That's the story with the Shagasari and the Chaim Volozhin, his mother. Yeah, that's the story. So good, but they hosted him. Why did they host him? It's of course a privilege to have this kind of person in your home for months, studying Torah and his level. This is the ultimate level, the ultimate source. To be continued. Josh.